was a welcome song. It is called The Road of the Llamas. It's back in the Inca Trail that takes you up on top of the Machu Picchu ruins. There's a trail that the llamas created. So the Inca people made that song to help us understand what it's like to go up there into a mountain where llamas have gone by for generations past. So I hope you like that song, and that's also a welcoming song for you all to enjoy this evening. Thank you for inviting me. I have been working with Teresa for a few months now, just trying to coordinate the efforts. I am originally from southern Mexico, and I'm here with my wife Angelita. She said, "You know what, I have never been in Sioux City, Iowa." So, and I'll be honest, I have driven through. I have performed throughout the United States and Mexico and in Europe, but for some reason I just have not stopped here. So I hope it's not the last time that I visit this place. And so in the next 35 minutes, I am going to take you to a journey to the Andes Mountains of Bolivia, Ecuador, Peru. This is the flute of the Inca people. 6 holes on top, 1 on the bottom. It's a hollow instrument, but the Inca people were amazing musicians, and they were the creators of all of this. I'm not sure if I'm going to have time to talk to you about all the instruments that I brought, but I'm going to try my best, all right? So this is the flute of the Andes, and then I'm going to show you now another instrument well known in the Inca world, which is called Zampoñas, which are the panpipes. These are the panpipes, or Zampoñas. And this is the bombo. It is the drum that the Inca people use to play their music. Now, the Inca people didn't have drums. The African people who came with the Spaniards to South America brought with them these large drums. The Inca people heard the sound of the bombo, and they thought that it sounded like the heartbeat of human people, or human beings, better said. So they decided to incorporate the sound of the bombo into everything that they do, musically speaking. So as you were listening to the beat of the drum, you perhaps heard these. For the Inca people, that's the sound of the flapping of the big wings of the condor, which is similar to an eagle, but twice as large than an eagle. So what the Inca people did is create instruments that would resemble nature, the sounds of nature, like the wind. As a matter of fact, they learn how to they learn about this instrument through the observation of nature. This material here is similar to a bamboo shoot, but many times thinner, very, very thin. This instrument here is so fragile that if I were to blow at it too hard, it would crack in the middle. And these are very expensive instruments. These are professionally built. It is very difficult to find the materials in order to replace these instruments. But let me tell you a little bit more about the Zampoñas. They come in different sizes. The smallest size of Zampoñas is this. And small children learn how to play the panpipes, starting off with something rather small, something like this. So the families, the friends, the neighbors make these tiny little instruments. They hang it around the necks of their children so that when they go off to play out in the field, sometimes they remember that they have something hanging around their necks. They stop, they pause for a minute. And once they learn, they go back home and say, "Mom, Dad, look." Until it becomes annoying. Once it becomes annoying, that's a good sign. That means these children are tired of playing the same thing. So what the parents do is, "Can I have that back, please?" So they give this back to the parents, and they graduate to something a little bit more complex, something a little bit bigger. But this is actually a professional instrument, and so now children begin to learn about the idea of learning how to identify the notes. So on one row we have a set of notes, and on the other row we have other sets of notes. We use the pentatonic scale, 5-note system. The Inca people actually created the pentatonic scales in the black keys of the piano. And once they get good at this, they go back home, they say, "We're good. What's next?" That's when the parents, neighbors, grandpa, grandma, presents that now young boy or young girl, the most common size of Zampoñas, which is the one that musicians play around the world. This is the most common size. And once we get good at this size, they go back home and they say, "We are good. What's next?" That's when the parents say, "All right, If you're good, let's try this one. And it becomes harder. The larger the panpipes, the harder it is for the musician to blow at it, because it requires a lot of pressure of air, better said. The air has to travel from one end, which is open, all the way to the bottom, which is closed. So as the air travels all the way down, it reaches the bottom, the air comes back right up, and as it does, it vibrates the walls of the panpipes. And I would not be able to play a long song with these panpipes, only tiny little pieces of the song or of the musical piece, and then I would have to stop and breathe while everybody else played the drums and the flutes, and then meanwhile I'm just kind of recuperating all the oxygen that I lost along the way. All right? What happens when when we get good at playing these? They go back and say, all right. That's when the big mama comes out. Not messing around with this one. That's as loud as it gets. It doesn't get any louder than that. But I have to breathe now, otherwise I'll collapse. Whew. Yes, because now the air has to travel even further all the way down here. And then have enough energy to come back up and then make it vibrate so your ears can then hear the sound of these panpipes. Thank you. This instrument here, it's called Quena. Beautiful instrument. This was the first instrument I learned how to play when I was 7 years old. Of course, at that time, it took me weeks and months in order to make it sound. I remember the first time my parents brought home these flutes. I would just try to find a way to make it sound. They didn't know. As they were traveling in Mexico, they found a group of musicians from South America that were traveling across Mexico. And my parents were mesmerized by the sound of this flute that they purchased the flute of one of the musicians, and they brought home that flute. They were made out of bamboo, and this one here is made out of ebony wood. But it took me a long time. And then I would ask my parents, how do you remember how they played it? And they said, I'm sorry, son. We don't know. We just know that they were holding it like that, and then they would make these beautiful sounds. So I would go like, and nothing. And by mistake, one day, I just kind of, that's all I heard. And I'm like, I got it. I got it. And I went back to that mistake I made. And that's how I began to then make sound. That was the sound that I originally got out of this instrument. And little by little, I would go like, and then I would be so happy. I would just practice for hours that one note. And then I would go to my mom and say, Mom, I got it. And my mother, very patient, because by that time, she was already tired of me trying to, she was trying to relax, and here I am trying to just make these squeaky noises. But this also, like the panpipes, they come in different sizes. The Inca people believe that humans, regardless of their age, should learn how to play these instruments. And so this is the size in which small children learn how to play the quena, the flute of the Andes. Of course, for me, it is too big. My fingers are too big. My mouth structure is too big. But I'm going to try my best to play a little bit so that you hear the pitch of it. Yes, it's difficult, but that's what it sounds like. So then we have different sizes, all right? But this is the smallest. And so this would be the largest of the flute size. Every instrument has its unique sound, its unique purpose in this entire orchestra of Andean ensemble or music. So this is my sandbox per se. I play with these instruments all the time, and if I were to tell you what has brought joy to my life, I could very easily tell you and safely say that it's been music. I could have gone through different directions to get the peace that I need at times of turmoil. But this is what has brought me the most. They have some instruments back there, some cymbals. Thank you for bringing them along. Yeah. No problem at all. No problem at all. We're making noises, joyful noises today. So that's not a problem. But anyway, it has been music for me what has worked best for me. And along the way, I bring people to my own journey. So we drove from Lincoln, which is not too far from here, a couple of hours, couple and a half hours or so, depending on the speed. But of course, bringing my wife next to me, she would just slow me down and said, Oscar, speed limit, please. And so it took me a little bit longer today. But I was thinking, and I was telling Angelita, how happy I was that I was traveling to a new place, meeting new people, and sharing this music. When I close my eyes as I perform, I close my eyes because I don't want anything to distract me from that journey that I am trying to bring you along. That's why I close my eyes. Because once I open it, the light, the environment, the colors, anything can take me away from that moment in time. So I still have many instruments, and time is moving fast. It's already what time is it anyways? It's 2:30, right? So I better hurry up because I hear that there's some coffee and some cookies and some good stuff, right? Let me introduce you all to my baby guitar. It is. This is an amazing instrument. It's called Charango, and the translation of Charango, it means mischievous. Charango is the word in Inca that means mischievous. That's the name that the Inca people gave this instrument because of the high frequency of the chords. But this mischievous instrument can also be so gentle. That's what I do. That's what I do. You know, it's I use the instruments. I sing with the instruments. I don't worry about whether my neighbor is gonna scream at me. I just, I just play it, and I don't think, but playing music gets me into less trouble than talking. So I rather play music, and I hope that you all, at this moment in time, you are having a good time. I hope that what we are creating is a peaceful environment, one of collaboration, one of respect. Once again, it's we only have a few minutes left, and I have more instruments that I need to show you, and I may need to come back, right? As you see, I have all kinds of instruments here. One of my favorite instruments, besides the flutes, the panpipes, the drums, the Native American drum, that at some point in time, I'll come back and continue this conversation. These are the ocarinas. Ocarinas are, have you heard of ocarinas? They are instruments made out of clay. They make sounds of birds and all kinds of animals. And that's why I like them. So I'm gonna show you a few of them. We have this one that makes, I'm gonna play it and you tell me.
I love that.
Right, I love that too, isn't it? But not in the morning or at night, Right? So I have a smaller version of it right here. You don't want to see an animal making those type of noises next to you. That means danger, all right? But then we have other instruments like this one. I can hear that without any problem. And then we have other ones, like this one that makes the sounds of and I was invited to play for a community such as this one in Harrison, Nebraska. I'm not sure how many of you have been in Harrison. It is 7 hours from Lincoln. It is at the corner of Nebraska. And they have bluffs and the wind. I mean, I hear that just like what you're hearing. You hear it at night. They put me in this. They don't have a hotel in there. There was this old building, and that as I walk the floors, it kind of squeak the floors in the upstairs. And in my window, there's nothing else there. There were only cattle, and I was scared. That's I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Because at night, I was trying to focus and sleep for the next morning performance for the children in the school system. I would hear this, and I'm like, no, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but somehow I managed. All right. Here, I have older ones, different kinds. the water bird. You know? When I was a small child, my mother would go to the marketplace and she would bring me a water bird. And so without water, it sounds like this. Like seagulls. I grew up next to the Gulf of Mexico, just 2 blocks away from the ocean. So I would see the seagulls just flying over, making this sound. But once I put water in it, I mean, I have to drink the water, but once I put water in here, right? Here it is. I may spill a little bit, but I can. Yeah. So I would go around the neighborhood, flying away. It was so much fun, and even today, these are, I mean, sometimes I just do it for fun. In the kitchen, I just bring my water bird without anybody watching. All right, and do that. So, going back, and I promise I will let you go in a little bit. I know the coffee's ready, but the charango, the first charangos, long time ago, back in the Inca times, were made out of the shell of an animal. They were not made out of hardwood like we find them today. In the Inca world, they didn't have very many trees, only small bushes and lots of this tiny little animal. Can you take a guess? Turtles were one of them, but their shells would break very easily. So the Inca people stopped making them out of turtle. Now, there was another animal stronger.
Armadillo.
Yes. So they made their instruments out of the shell of an armadillo. It is a type of armadillo. It is a close relative to the North American armadillo, which is larger. This is as big as they grow. They don't grow any bigger than this. These are called quirquinchos, all right? Now, these are the ones that crawl into a full ball. Have you seen them? I mean, they do. When in danger, they're gonna crawl into a little ball and just go down the mountain side. The most interesting part about this animal is that it grows hair. I don't know how they do it. I can't do it, but these animals can, all right? And it is as soft as your hair, actually. It grows. And the interesting, and don't believe me, but once this animal is dead, or the hair still grows. Yes, you'll be surprised. But anyways, so people in the Andes eat the meat of the armadillo, and then they save the shells in order to make their instruments. They no longer do that because these animals are in danger of extinction. So I just happen to have these. It's very old. It doesn't have any more strings, but I keep it because, number one, I cannot get it. I cannot bring it from South America anymore. I get in trouble if they find me bringing one. I can only purchase one that is in the United States already, and one that is as old as this one. But they're very expensive, and it's hard to find them just because of the shell. But I wanted to show you the Inca people were very creative in making these instruments. Yes. Oh, my frogs. I'll introduce you to these frogs. can have a symphony of frogs. It sounds so cool. Sometimes I do this with students, with children. I give one to one in the corner, another one. Well, as a matter of fact, let's do that. I promise I'll let you go. So you are going to play the tiny little frog, and the way you play it, you hold it from the hind legs, and then this little part here goes. Go ahead, you gotta try. Yes, yes, very good. You got it. Now let's see who's gonna do this. Do you wanna try?
Maybe we try. It
Okay.
can't be that bad.
No, it cannot be that bad. Yes, you grab it from the hind legs, like that, and then from this, you go like, yes, yes, yes. Oh, you like that? Okay, very good, very good. So you grab it from the, and then, oh, you got one. He got one, so he has practice. All right, very good. So, all right. So here we go. Let's practice. Let's practice a little bit. So we'll start with a small frog and continue. That's awesome. Now imagine listening to this all day long in this room. That is awesome. Oh, I love it. I love it. I hope, Angelina, I hope you're recording this. That's some Facebook material right here. Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's awesome.
Trying to put the opportunity.
Well,
So
thank you for trying.
my dad obeyed. So.
Thank you so much.
I think I like it. I hope I did.
Well, very good. We are done. It wasn't that bad, was it? Was it all right? Thank you once again for the opportunity to be here, and I hope I can come back at some other time and continue bringing some of these instruments.
Can we hear the big drums?
Oh yes, the big drum. Yes. We have,
Okay.
yes. This is, you know, I was hired to work with the Omaha Nation, which is not too far from here. You go to Decatur, go up and go to Macy. So for 5 years, I worked with the district to teach kids how to build drums. And so this, but this one here is, they actually build it. And this is what it sounds like. And it gets really loud. So every time I travel, I bring this because I incorporate the sounds of the Native American drum from Nebraska. This is originally from this area of the Native people. So I traveled with this drum wherever I go, and then there are a couple of pieces that I played with flutes and actually the panpipes and the drum, and it gives just a different flavor. Yes, ma'am.
What about the seashell?
Oh, yes. Well, I hope you don't mind if you stay for a little bit longer. Today we have cell phones, right? Back in the Incan time, we had shell phones. But as I go around talking to people about my culture and the music, this was one of the most precious tools a king could hold. It was illegal for anybody to play around with this, because back in the Inca time, they called wars with this instrument. The king would assign someone who knew what the code, Morse code was. They would go on top of a mountain, and from a mountainside, they would go. I'm going to go over here because it may be a little bit loud. Okay, here we go. Are you guys ready? That's what I do with kids, and
I love that.
they want to keep me out of the school, but okay. so of course, once you are up on top of a mountain, you could hear this for miles. And then people, those allies of the Inca people, would know exactly where to meet, when to meet, and how to meet. So, and it was all done by this instrument. Amazing, isn't it? But thank you for saying something. And let's see, one last instrument before you go. I play all kinds of wind instruments. My wife is from Brazil. So we were in Florianopolis, which is an island in Brazil near Sao Paulo. I was walking the streets in this location, and from afar I heard someone making these beautiful bird noises. And I said to Angelita, stop, what am I hearing? It feels like someone is making these noises. So I went, and it was a child, actually, with a bunch of these tiny little instruments on the floor, like here, like that, selling it to tourists, to people, all right? And he was just showing them how to play this. And I just went through the crowd, and I began to look, because that's how I learned how to play these instruments. And then I said, I want to buy 3 of them, and actually I have 4 of them. And I'm like, and then he says, okay, well, here they are. And then I said, and then he says, could you play it? Sure, I am a musician. I play all kinds of instruments, and when it comes to wind instruments, I am good. Of course, I didn't say that, but in my mind, I said that. So I'm like, sure, give it to me. And then at that point in time, that kid and everyone around him, were looking. Once again, I made a fool of myself. And so at that point in time, they were laughing, all right? I was laughing, to myself. And then the kid says, what are you doing? Well, I'm trying to play this. I play instruments, wind instruments. And then he goes like, what? Well, the thing is, this is not a flute. You're trying to play it as a flute. And I'm like, so if it's not a flute, what is it? It sounds like a flute. Well, this is a whistle. Well, I have tons of whistles. No, this is a nose whistle. You play it with your nose. So start with your nose. And at that point in time, I have never in my life played anything with my nose. As a matter of fact, I don't like it. But for the sake of music, I'm going to play. So he guided me through the process, and he says, put it up your nose. That's, how he said it. And I'm like, all right. Okay, now, what do I do? No, don't blow through your mouth. You're not doing it wrong, okay? Blow through your nose, okay? That's all through my nose. Of course, I use my tongue in order to bend the airflow. That's my tongue and my nose. It gets really weird, if we go into the science of it, all right? But anyway, I brought 4 of them, and it took me a month, and my wife had to say, Oscar, stop. Just stop doing that. It just stop. I don't like it. Just stop. So I would have to practice on my own by myself in the basement for a long time in order to make this.